how's it going, everybody? My name is Thomas Draven, back again for another video, and in this one we're taking a look at this gigantic RedSub Coliseum 6-string bass. So the story behind acquiring this bass is that my band, Low Life Tea Party, we're sort of like an alternative rock slash pop punk band, but we're kind of unique in the sense that we use a lot of lower tunings for some of our songs, including like drop A on 7-string guitars or drop E on 8-string guitars sometimes even. And from a production standpoint, it's really difficult to mix a song with an 8-string, especially if you're using a 4-string bass with a standard scale length in the same octave as the 8-string guitar. It just doesn't sound as full, it kind of lacks a lot of body. There are certainly ways of doing this in the studio to get around that, like pitch shifting or, different studio magic, but in terms of playing those songs live, you can't always utilize that. So I wanted to find a bass that I could tune all the way down an octave below a standard bass guitar. So obviously I'm a college student and I can't justify spending, $2 or $3 or sometimes $4 grand on a Dingwall bass, but I was perusing the internet and came across this beast, and I thought that that would be the perfect solution to my problem. So for specs, we have a roasted maple neck, a roasted maple fretboard with black binding. We have nickel frets, unbranded, non-locking tuners, a matching headstock. The scale length is 34 inches to 36.25 on the longer end of things. We have glow-in-the-dark side dots. I just dinged it against my desk. We have glow-in-the-dark side dots. And for the body, we have American basswood. We have, obviously, 6 individual saddles for all of our strings. We have 7, count them, 7 bolts to keep this massive neck attached to this massive body. We have a battery box, we have the electronics cavity, we have 2 soap bar pickups, and we have a volume control, a blend control, and a 3-band active EQ. So you may be thinking like, okay, you have a 6-string bass, but standard 6-string tuning is B to C. So that doesn't really work if you're trying to go all the way down to drop E for your 8-string songs, right? Well, with the help of a company from the UK called Newtone, I was able to string this guitar up with a set of 40 to 174. I used the Alex Milovich signature set, the bassist from North Lane, and just a 40 gauge string that I had laying around from a different project, and I slapped it on this bass in order to get down to that super low E0 tuning. It actually was shockingly easy to set up. Like, I was really anticipating it being a super huge pain in the butt to try and get this bass to sit nicely at that low tuning, but honestly, after setting up the action and setting up the intonation, this bass sounds great, and I could not be happier with what I purchased. And it's a killer fucking sounding bass. Like, in terms of QC issues, this kind of stuff happens on just about any guitar in this price range, that being like the $300 to $400 price range. You can expect a few issues, but from what I can tell, I got relatively lucky with mine. I've heard online that there are people who receive these guitars and then the nuts are totally unusable, or they have issues with the electronics, or horrible finish flaws, stuff like that. I didn't have any of those, so I can't speak to any of those, but you can expect maybe a little bit of inconsistency, especially if you're shipping guitars overseas. That always isn't always up to the manufacturer. If they get a guitar and then ship it and it gets dinged in shipping, that's not their fault. But for this particular instrument, yes, there are a couple of dings in the finish. I will try and show them on camera, but they're so minuscule. There's one here on the upper bout, one here in the middle of the body, and that's pretty much it for the top. We have some tooling marks around the binding on the neck and around the headstock, and that's pretty much it. There's a bit of tool marks around the bolts on the inside of these sort of bolt holes, just where like there's like some white residue, not really sure what it is, but it's there. And then the only other issue on mine was the frets. They were pretty rough. They were not well polished, they weren't very impressive looking to say the least, but it's a simple fix. Literally, I just had some fine grit sandpaper laying around, and it took 5 minutes while the strings were off to just go in there, go hit each individual fret and make sure that it was nice and polished. And now every single fret is not the shiniest thing in the world, but certainly less scratchy than when I started. So overall, this bass is very niche, it's very unique in its design, and it's very cool in my opinion, because if you want to tune super low on bass and you need that extra long scale length, this is the way to go. This will get you there no problem, and you will be able to tune low and have it intonated properly and just get you those low rumblies that you want in your mix. So I'm super happy with this bass. The electronics sound shockingly good for the price of the instrument. I thought I was going to have to at least swap out the pickups, if not ditch the entire thing and get a new preamp as well. But I am shocked with how good it sounds, and I will show you guys how it sounds right now. I'm going to be using a clip from our song off of our Great Tuesday album. The song is called For the One I Dream Of, and I'll just show you one of the choruses. The first chorus will be the bass when it was originally recorded in the same octave as the guitars, and then I will show you the isolated bass on its own, obviously in the same octave, and then the second clip is going to be of the bass played down the octave on this super low 174 gauge string, and you guys can hear the difference both in just like the body of the sound and like the girthiness of the low end, and you can just see how absolutely insane this bass sounds. So there you have it, guys. This is the RedSub Coliseum bass, 6-string bass, absolutely huge. I have to scoot my chair back super far to get it all in frame. I hope you've enjoyed watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you want to see more gear-related videos like this, and I hope to see you all in the next one. Have a wonderful day. Peace.